Hello everyone, Turtleags here, bringing you another AFK Journey video. Today I will be filming a guide for Arden, who is a fantastic mage that fits very well in an Aaron team, control team, which I will showcase momentarily. I want to begin by first going over his kit, then I will reveal the team, the optimal team for him, and we will do a couple showcases in battles. So, let's first go over his abilities. Beginning with his ultimate, Force of Nature, Arden selects a tile and casts lightning strikes on all surrounding enemies within 2 tiles, dealing 160% damage and creating dark clouds that cover the area for 7 seconds. The dark clouds will repeatedly strike the enemies below with lightning when they are under control effects, dealing 80% damage each time. An enemy can only be struck once every 2 seconds. Arden prioritizes selecting the tile with the most surrounding enemies when casting the lightning strikes. So what does this mean? Basically what happens, is that when he casts his ultimate, there will be a rain cloud that appears over a two tile radius over the enemies, and it will basically fire lightning down on the enemies every 2 seconds. And it mentions how they need to be under crowd control in order to have the lightning come down. So if they're immune to crowd control, this is probably not going to work for Arden. However, most enemies you can crowd control, unless you're going really high level in the AFK stages. Some of them do have units that are immune to magic, immune to crowd control. It's really annoying, but it is what it is. Sometimes they do have mechanics like that, so keep that in mind. Entangling Roots. Arden summons vines to entangle 2 closest enemies for 2 seconds, dealing 50% damage every 1 second. This skill prioritizes enemies under the dark cloud. So what does this mean? So entangling vines is something that Sasia is capable of doing too. This is a form of crowd control. And this is especially important for Arden because when you pair him up with someone like Aaron, who's able to vortex everyone towards a tile, you want to keep them where they are. That way everyone, all 5 enemies, are underneath that rain cloud to do the maximum damage every 2 seconds from his ultimate. And so for this reason, being able to entangle roots to keep them in position and prioritizing that under the dark cloud is very useful. Now, moving on to Nature's Resilience, Arden recovers 12 energy whenever a non-summoned enemy is controlled. This effect can be triggered once for each enemy in 2 seconds. So what does this mean? Basically, Arden has the ability to accelerate, or I should say, to accelerate his you need energy to cast your ultimate, and he's able to recover energy, thus allowing him to spam his ultimates more often, more frequently. And then Hero Focus, you should max this out to increase his damage output. It's not that expensive. Basically, it increases his attack by up to 20% depending on investment during the battle. Now once you get him to Mythic Plus, this is where things start to come together. So, Spring Thunderstorm. Arden inflicts all enemies within the range of the Dark Cloud with Entangling Roots once after casting his ultimate Force of Nature. Force of Nature. So, what does this mean? This means that, remember what I said earlier about how the lightning only showers down on enemies with crowd control? Well, when you get him to Mythic Plus, this grants everyone an Entangling Roots, which is crowd control. So all 5 of those enemies will be crowd controlled, thus will all be susceptible to the lightning. And this is what makes Arden's damage output so high. And it's really cool that Arden's entire kit is very synergistic. He doesn't necessarily rely on anyone, although he becomes increasingly broken the more crowd control elements you apply, you add to your team. And what's really cool is that when you get the EX weapon to level 5, the ultimate range is extended to a 3-tile radius. And that is huge because the larger the rain cloud, the more likely you will catch all 5 enemies within that rain cloud. And this is important even if you have Aaron, because sometimes Aaron will group and then they'll start spreading apart again, and just having that extra 1-tile range extension can really increase your damage output. His Premium Plus is also a game changer as well, because the Force of Nature's minimum Thunderstrike cooldown on the same enemies reduced to 1. Remember what I said earlier, that after he casts his ultimate, he summons the lightning on the same enemy once every 2 seconds. Well, with his Premium Plus, you cut that in half, which essentially doubles your ultimate's damage output. So it's kind of crazy. So now that we've gone over Arden's kit, I would like to showcase the team that I believe complements Arden the most. And that is this beauty right here. Basically, you have let's go left to right. So you have Arden, who is crowd control / AoE damage. You have Carolina, who is crowd control because she encases someone in ice where they cannot move or act for 6 seconds, and I think that lasts like 8 seconds if you level her up more. And she also does splash damage to everyone around that giant block of ice that person is encased in. So you got 2 AoE mages that both crowd control. You have Aaron to vortex everyone from the start of the game, start of the match, assuming you have him Mythic Plus or higher. You have the best healer in the game, Haywin, who is immune to crowd control, does burst healing with her prayer rain, and also when she does her ultimate prayer rain, grants the entire team a 30+% damage reduction. And then rounding out the team is the best tank in the game, Thorin, who tethered to Haywin is able to keep the healer alive and thus keep everyone alive. So now that I've gone over the team, let's go ahead and do some showcases. And I unfortunately am very high on AFK stages, so I'm using another stage to substitute, which is the Arcane Labyrinth. Okay, so I intentionally went up high enough on the stage so that we're roughly the same strength. Well, okay, we're higher in strength, but I'll do a couple showcases. Okay, so here's kind of the way to do the formation. So you can do Thorin in the front, you got Haywin in the middle, you have Aaron in the back. You have him in the back because he's a 1-tile range unit, and you want to keep him alive to vortex again and again and again. You need to give your Thorin enough time to aggro all the units, and so for this reason I like to have Aaron in the back surrounded by all my units to make it harder for him to go to the front. And then I have both my Arden as well as my Carolina in the back, ready for action. There is merit actually to move them 1 tile up, just to make sure they don't waste time taking a step forward to attack the enemies. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the showcase. Oh, I forgot to mention that the confining spell is going to be the way to go, because in addition to locking down the enemies where they are with the imprisoning, you're also adding some extra attack and HP. Okay, let's go ahead and showcase this. Okay, we vortex first. The crowd controls are already happening. Yeah, we encased in ice, and they're gone. I should mention also that Aaron is a very good partner. Both Aaron and Carolina, they apply magic defense shred. Premium Plus Aaron applies 55% magic defense shred, while a max invested premium plus Carolina does a 30% magic defense shred. So it's almost 100%. So your magic users will love that. Okay. So I know they're not as high as us, but you kind of get the idea. Let me go ahead and do a couple more showcases so that you guys, can see how the team works and everything. Now, if you don't have a Cassandra, because, you can't pull, like, let's say the wish list is not on your side. If you happen to have gotten a Cassidy, you can use her too. And for illustration purposes, I'll go ahead and do that. The thing about Cassidy, what makes her also a fantastic unit, is that she is also a crowd controlling magic user. She has two ways to crowd control. One way is through her ultimate, where she tidal waves, shoving everyone 2 tiles back. She also has an ability where she stuns, knocks them back 2 tiles. And then she also has the ability where she stuns the enemies caught in this attack for 1.5 seconds. So that's another form of crowd control. So it's up to you whether you want to go Cassidy or Cassandra, because you do have your Wilder core in Haywin, Aaron, and Arden. So they're kind of interchangeable. Let's go ahead and give this a try so you guys have an idea of how this works. So Vortex, crowd controlling, you have the spell, and I should mention too that with Cassidy, she does bless one unit, and that blessed unit, whenever they attack, Cassidy will do a follow-up attack. That's the water coming from the ground. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Cassidy, when you have her premium plus, shreds 20% magic defense. So, just up to you depending on who you have. Arden is pretty accessible because he is an A rank unit. So at that point, it depends on which S rank you've got. Okay, so let's just stick with Cassidy since she has the bonus from this map. So let's go ahead and do this again. They are getting tougher and tougher, so they should survive a bit more so you can see the true beauty of this team. Yeah, so that's the lightning. We haven't even seen the tidal wave yet. I want you guys to see the tidal wave. And then you'll be like, oh dang, okay. So very straightforward team. Oh, there's the tidal wave. Yeah. So it pushes them back. And that will allow you to keep Arden alive, because he's kind of squishy. Yeah, the mages tend to be. Oh, and Panda did provide some useful advice. Reminder that the stats on the skills are just passive. You don't have to have them equipped for the bonus. Okay. I don't think the differential will ever change because we are getting stronger too. But they are surviving longer. Yeah. Part of the reason why we're clearing so fast is because Cassidy blesses a unit, and so there's follow-up attack. Plus she's getting super buffed. And since I'm trying to clear this new stage, I might as well just keep the showcases rolling. That way you see just how incredible this team is. And even against a single target, it's still pretty decent. You'll see momentarily. Yeah, because remember the lightning's, well, I guess it's one per. I guess we'll keep going until we go against a single target boss. Yeah, and then I guess we'll do the single target so you guys see. Yeah, so vortexed again. Yeah, you see, so the enemy never gets a chance to act. They're just like Monka, you know? So you see how difficult it is to break out of that and how the clouds hit every single unit. Yeah, this team's crazy. Crazy good. So as you can see, you can totally swap Carolina for Cassandra. There are some benefits to that because you do have some, while you cannot, even though you don't get the frozen ice, you do push them all back, which is kind of helpful in some scenarios. Ooh, perfect buff. I always avoid the revolving orb. I always get something bad. Nice. Aaron is still helpful because even though crowd control doesn't do anything here, he does do the 55% magic defense shred. So we are flying through the HP meter. Yeah. So it's 55% from Aaron and 20% from Cassidy. Okay, we'll keep pushing. Let's continue. I'm going to clear this content anyway, so might as well just show you more battles. Yeah, it's pretty powerful. And you know, the nice thing about having Cassidy over Carolina actually is that if by chance the enemy has like a Vala, or say like, no, I'm sorry, not Vala, like a thief that teleports over to your side to try to kill your unit, that rogue does get caught in the tidal wave, which is helpful. Carolina can't do that. And I'm getting a lot of buffs that help with crowd control. So this team definitely gets a lot of tools that can be helpful for you to push the labyrinth if you're getting stuck on it. So as you can see, they just cannot get out. Even Igor is having a hard time. Oh yeah, the enemy's definitely tougher. Yeah, this team is pretty good. Oh, that was the confining spell. That those yellow chains underneath them, it locked them on the tile. They can't move.
Bow before the king.
And there's actually merit to having Arden be the one in the center because Arden hits so much that, yeah, actually I'm gonna swap the places between Arden and Aaron, because sometimes Aaron dies, but it looks to me that uh, Arden hits way more. Correct, all artifact-based stats are globally added to your account regardless of who's equipped. Yeah, and our Aaron died, which means we gotta revive him. That's kind of Monka. Can we revive him? Oh, I can't. Okay, well that kind of ends the showcase then. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy content like this, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.